a pretty spoiled individual, and I don't really understand why. Take, for example, right now, my boss. Throughout the year that I've worked at the current job that I'm with, he has done so much more for me than I have ever expected, and especially asked for, because I haven't asked for anything. Not only has this man given me this shirt, went and got me the exclusive Ectotron figure, but he also managed to find me an Earthrise Astro Train. Why he does this for me, I'll never know. Especially with these two. These are expensive as fuck. But no, he's gone and done something completely out of left field for me. Just as expensive, but something that's a little foreign. But something he's teaching me about, so I'm going to do my best to do it justice. As you can see from the title, this is something very different, but I do want to talk about it. So here we go. This is the brand new G.I. Joe Classifieds Snake Eyes. Now, before we get into him himself, I want to talk about something else really cool. This box is so fancy. Not only does it have this really cool slipcover, but the moment that you take it out, you've got this amazingly designed and detailed box with a slightly raised texture for this dragon, I believe it is. Got some, I assume, Japanese letters all down the side here. If I'm wrong, I'm very sorry. But yeah, it's just beautiful from every angle that you hold it in. Once you take the top cover off, you get a piece of paper that has the exact same design on it. But it's not just a normal piece of paper. It's got a different feel to it, and it's nice. It's just really nice. Anyway, setting that to the side, we come into the actual box itself and what comes inside. Now, this is the box that Snake Eyes himself comes in with his normal accessories. I've got it flipped around because, one, he's out of the box, and two, that artwork is sick. And over here on the other half of the foam insert, we've got the extra stuff that he came with in this box. We've got the space for his weapon stand and all of these other weapons right here, which we will get into those in just a little bit. But for now, let's set this aside and get back to talking about Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes himself looks absolutely incredible. I just love the look of him all over. And I'm so happy that G.I. Joe's coming back with new toys, especially in a 6-inch line that's a lot like Marvel Legends. Something that I've also expressed my interest in that I'm a little afraid to get into. It's another very expensive hobby that I would need to very much consider getting into. But now that I've got one of these as a gift, I'm probably going to get some more G.I. Joe stuff. But enough about that. Look at how good Snake Eyes looks up here. It's also great that when you turn his head, his little neck moves with him slightly as well. Honestly, this guy's articulation is just incredible. Impressive double-jointed elbows and knees as well. Like, look at that. The range of motion is just incredible. Not to mention a waist swivel and an ab crunch. So not only can you get him in some pretty sweet fighting stances, but he can even reach back over his shoulder and grab this sword. Speaking of the sword back here, it's in this nice leathery looking sheath with the Arashikage logo right up there. Hold on out, and it's definitely a sword. It's interesting looking. I'm not too sure how Snake Eyes-y it is, but you know what? We'll go with it. I still think it looks really good, obviously. Now, he's also got another accessory that can go on his back, that being this backpack here. So if you don't want just the sword and sheath right back here, you can just pull it out of this hole, take the backpack, stick it right through both little holes, because there's also a hole on this grenade strap right here. And then there's a hole right there on the side, so you just take the sword. He can still reach over his shoulder and pull it out of his sheath, no problem. But it's just with the one side. Taking these off for a second, I want to get into a slight nitpick that I have. It's mostly just because I'm not a fan of it. Just that how loose this strap is and how loose this belt is. I don't know, I'm just not really a huge fan of it, but honestly, it's not a big deal. I'm sure if I didn't like it enough, I could probably take it off, but honestly, I don't want to mess with it too much. Anyway, why don't we get into his other accessories that don't go on his back? Namely the ones down here on his hips. On this side, we've got a nice little combat knife that comes on out and he can hold in his hand like so. On this side, he has a gun in this holder, just a little pistol. And again, these can fit right innately into his hands. The fingers are kind of softer plastic, able to be flexed a little bit so that way you can fit it around. And the trigger fingers are even sculpted to go into the little trigger hole. Same thing goes for his little machine gun looking gun right here. Just shove it in either one of his hands, put the trigger finger inside the trigger hole. Got a gun. And he also came with this other accessory down here next to the pistol. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it kind of looks like a flare, so we'll just go with it. Again, like everything else, he can hold it in his hand, and if you just want to keep it on the belt, well, that's okay too, because that's where I'm going to be keeping it. You would think that'd be it for the normal accessories, but oh no, because not only does he have this pair of grabby hands, he also comes with a right karate chop hand, and a left ninja star holding hand. And the way you switch them out is very simple. You just take the hand, give it a good tug, and just dismember him. Take the other hand, just shove it right back in the hole, and now he's holding a ninja star in his hand. And honestly, I really like the way that looks. Especially if you get him into the right pose with it, it's just magnificent. So that's it for the normal accessories, but remember, we do have the other half of the foam insert box. As mentioned before, there are 9 weapons and a display weapon stand that can be displayed thusly. Very cool that it even comes up as the Arashikage logo. The backside looks really cool as well with this design. And the 2 little dogs down here are really nice, but being very careful with it, this is just an awesome display. And again, just like the other weapons, he's able to hold all these in his hands too. And he looks absolutely immaculate with holding these weapons. And since we don't have a Storm Shadow yet, you can have him just fight the other ninja bot that's in your collection. And this is why I can honestly say that I'm probably gonna get hooked on getting these guys now, because this guy is incredible. Especially with this set in itself, you have a ton of options about what you want to display him with and how you want to display him, and that's kind of the fun about these figures. When left to your own devices, it can be a hell of a fun time. And I can honestly say that I love this thing, and I'm incredibly lucky for what I have been given. So Jay, thank you very much for giving this to me, and I hope that you like this video. So that's been my first, and honestly probably not the last, of the G.I. Joe Classifieds figures. It's nice to change it up a little once in a while, so I hope that you guys appreciate something different. Anyway, that's pretty much all I can really say about this guy, other than just I love him and he's incredible. Thank you all very much for watching. I have been 01 Trans Fan, the #1.